All right, let's do one more practice problem before we send you on your merry way to do your homework. And I'm so glad you're here with me doing this because it's the best way for you to learn. So pat yourself on the back for being a good student. All right, so let's take a look at our argument here. Any pizza with a hot dog stuffed crust is healthy. So this pizza with a hot dog stuffed crust is healthy. All right, what's up with me and the gross food problems, by the way? All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to work through these 8 steps to determine whether or not this argument is valid from the Boolean standpoint or the Aristotelian standpoint or both by pausing your video, working through those 8 steps, and then when you've got your answer, I'm going to check your work, go ahead and restart your video. All right, so let's see what you did here. We have a conclusion indicator in this argument, and that helps us figure out what the conclusion is. So the sentence that follows that is going to serve as our conclusion, and the sentence that precedes it is working as our premise. So I translated these into standard form like this. All hot dog stuffed crust pizzas are healthy foods. Therefore, some hot dog stuffed crust pizzas are healthy foods. You may have slightly different wording for your terms, but you want to make sure that both of your terms are countable nouns or noun phrases, particularly your predicate term. You want to make sure that it's a thing you can count. All right, next step, we got to symbolically represent this argument. And the first step in that is identifying letters to represent our 2 terms. I chose D to represent hot dog stuffed crust pizzas, and I chose H to represent healthy foods. You may have picked different letters to represent your terms. That's totally cool. You just want to make sure that when you symbolize the argument, you have something that looks like this. All D are H, therefore some D are H. Okay? So now we get to move on to representing the premise statement in a Venn diagram. We do that by shading in area 1. We want to show that all of the D's are over here in area 2. All of the D's are H's. And now we step back and we ask ourselves, after marking the premise statement only, do I see the conclusion some D or H? And the answer is no. Because if we did, we'd see an X right here in area 2, and no such X exists. And that tells us this argument is invalid from the Boolean standpoint. But, again, we put on our Aristotelian goggles and we give the argument another look, looking at it from the Aristotelian standpoint, and we ask ourselves, do I see any area of the D circle that is the only area where any of the D's can be? And the answer is yes, area 2. So I get to put my X with a circle around it there. That says that if all of the D's are in area 2, there's at least one in area 2. That's what the X represents, provided that D refers to something that actually exists. I wonder, do hot dog stuffed crust pizzas actually exist? I mean, I see one in the photo here, but that seems so gnarly as a food that I have a hard time imagining they actually exist. So I don't know whether these things actually exist. So all I can say is this, is that based on the knowledge that I have, this is a conditionally valid argument from the Aristotelian standpoint, but I don't know whether or not the condition for validity has been met, because I don't know whether this is like a photoshopped image or if somebody really created this obnoxious monstrosity of a hot dog stuffed crust pizza. So I don't know whether the condition's been met.